And then also, what I'm having difficulties with is just really trying to sharpen my prophetic skills, like when I'm awake physically. And I've been doing a lot of fasting, especially this past year. I've been fasting a lot, like every month. And I understand that we also should be meditating, but would you be able to advise on how I can sharpen that? And even if it's meditation, like prophet, like what you would do when you were first getting into the prophetic, and like maybe there's a certain way I should meditate, um, or like how I can hear or really see, like really open my eyes physically in the physical realm.
All right. You have dreams when you are asleep, but when you are awake, you are unable to see open visions.
Yes, sir.
All right. Now here is the problem. The problem here is your flesh. Yeah, I'm going to explain that to your understanding. The reason why you have prophetic dreams when you sleep, but when you wake up, you are unable to access the voice of God, is because when you are awake and your flesh takes over, your flesh still have the ability to dominate over your spirit when you are awake. Now, the best way to see an open vision is when the spirit dominates over the flesh. You will see an open vision. Do you know that there are many people, when they are about to go to sleep, their spirit is excited that you are going to sleep, because the spirits know that as you are going to sleep, he will have access to the voice of God and he will hear from his creator. Because when you are awake, he is unable to hear from the creator because the flesh normally takes over. So he is imprisoned when you are awake, but he is released when you are asleep. Why? Because immediately you go to bed, the flesh is no longer at work. The flesh is resting. So the spirit can pick up signals and information from the Lord. And when you are awake, the spirit will tell you, whilst you were sleeping, this is what went on, and this is what went on, and all that. The people that dream, it's not just like God don't want to give them an open vision. The Lord do want to give them an open vision. But normally when they are awake, sometimes some are too busy, so their spirit is unable to communicate a message. Most of the time, some people, their spirits are imprisoned because of worry, bitterness, sorrow. You know, so many things can imprison your spirit from accessing the voice of God. So when your flesh dominates over your spirit and you are awake, you will be unable to hear the voice of God. It doesn't take any special anointing to hear the voice of God. What it takes is that just know how to submit the flesh under the spirit when you are awake. How then do you do that? That is why in the school of prophets, one of the first things you must learn is learn how to master your emotions. When you learn how to master and control your emotions, you have gotten the job 50% done. Like during the day, people get so much emotional. Overjoy can stop you from accessing the voice of God. And even science have proven that when you are too happy, don't make a decision because you may regret the decision. There are people that were too happy and they gave out their cars and houses only to realize that they never meant to. It is also proven that when you are sad, so you should not take a decision when you are happy or when you are sad or when you are angry, because it may not be the best decision. Why? The spirit has been compromised, and any decision that is not coming from the spirit is likely not to produce the expected results. So what else will you do? If you want to access the voice of God whilst you are awake, then you should be able to master and control your emotions. Also, try to spend some time with the Lord during the day. Give your spirit the opportunity to travel and to interact with its creator during the day. How do we do that? Just like what you mentioned, through meditation. Spend time. Give the flesh a break and let the spirit travel. Let the spirit journey to where the creator is, and you will see the Lord speaking to the spirit. You will definitely hear the voice of God. It will come to a time when you meditate over a particular period of time and you train the spirit how to journey when you are awake. It will get to a time you don't need to meditate to hear the voice of God. You can just be walking or sitting or busy doing something, and then the Lord will speak to you audibly or through your intuition or through other ways. Now, and let me also say this. It is not like when we are awake, we don't hear the voice of God. When we are awake, God do speak to us. It is just that the spirit is unable to successfully carry the information to you. Why? The flesh is in charge, and the flesh have served as a security man at the door, stopping the spirit from successfully passing the information to you. So the major hindrance to hearing the voice of God when we are awake is the flesh. That is why when you spend time and pray, you hear the voice of God. Prayer is not requesting things from the Lord. Prayer is your ability to journey from the flesh to a realm where you can access the voice of God. When you go to God with a request, you are praying with a request. You may see or hear God around that request. But when you go to God, just because you loved him and you want to talk to him, after you are done talking, give him time to also talk. Prayer is not prayer until you hear from both sides. So if you are the only one speaking to God, it is not prayer. God will also speak back. So when you are done speaking to him, allow him to also speak to you. Give him time. So the best way to hear from the Lord is to journey from the flesh. When you walk away from the flesh, you will hear him. And prayer is one of the way of journeying from the flesh. When you begin to study the word, you realize that you are walking from the flesh to a dimension where you will meet the Lord himself. And the God you will meet, he will begin to speak to you. It is that simple. What stops you is the flesh. And what don't stop you when you are asleep is that the flesh is at rest and the spirit is happy and excited that the flesh is sleeping. I can speak to Linda because Linda can now hear me. I don't know if that has helped you.
Yes, sir. Thank you so much. That has helped so much.